talent I'm picking here for Alistair is going to be Overpower rather than Shield Wall. He already has 2 sustained modes. Shield Defense and Shield Cover. So another activated one will be better, I think, in the short term. We also have a level for Bryony, but I'll wait until we actually get started for that. I'm setting Morgan's tactics so that she will use the Winter's Grasp Frost spell on any enemy being attacked by a melee attack, so that we can try and trigger freezing and shattering. I'm also setting a tactic for each of her spells. She has 8 spells that she knows, which all require sort of a different use case. Surrounded by 2 enemies, Mind Blast. That's the first priority. Then, if her health is below 90%, use Life Drain. So, go ahead and drain some life for herself. Then Winter's Grasp. No, I'm going to put Disorient there on anyone using a melee attack on her. Because you want them to forget about attacking her. Then Winter's Grasp. Then Weakness on an enemy using a melee or ranged attack. That will decrease their attack and defense. Then Lightning and Arcane Bolt are just pretty standard. I don't have a good one for Shock. Maybe I'll use Shock for any target who is at short range. No, because that's easy to friendly fire. I'll just set a tactic for her to use a Lyrium Potion instead, for when she has mana level lower than 20%, use Lyrium Potion. I'll set that as a high priority. Also, self. Health. below 50%, use an actual health poultice. Don't rely on a healing spell for that. Oh, Liliana does not have enough tactic slots for what we need here. Song of Valor. Yeah, she should activate that in combat. She should also activate aim in combat. For a target at short range, use Dirty Fighting. That's the kick in the nuts. That's good. Use Distraction on anyone attacking her with a melee attack. That's good. And then with a target with... Gosh, she really does not have enough tactic slots. I'm gonna need to give her some levels in tactics. How close is she to
What now?
Not close. Well, first of all, I'll give her a bow. I have a tier 5 bow that's a DLC item that I can give her. And then she can just have her modes on all the time. Song of Valor and Aim. So I can take those out of her tactics if I'm just gonna have them on always. And then on the nearest visible enemy, she'll use Pinning Shot. What's her other one? Shattering Shot, Crippling Shot, Critical Shot. That's it. I'll have her always use that on the enemy with the highest health, because that does a ton of damage. Alright, that's all I want to do for now. Okay, let's officially get started. Welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. We are in the small village of Lothering. We sort of fled here after the crushing defeat of the human armies at the Battle of Ostagar. We were taken in by the woman Morrigan, who we met briefly in the wilds, and her mother, who supposedly rescued us by turning into a giant bird and plucking us off of a tower. So who knows how she actually got us, but that's the story we were given. Morgan's mother suggested that we travel to Lothering, a very small village just north of the Wilds, which is the area where the fortress of Ostagar was. So we made it there. We explored the town a little bit. We went into the tavern looking for news, and instead found... Well, we found news in the fact that Loghain, the commander who survived the battle by ordering a retreat of his army that was supposed to lead a flanking charge, just wholesale retreated instead. Some people are saying that he did that intentionally to leave the king and the Grey Wardens to die. Others are saying that it was a savvy tactical plan to, not throw his men into a suicide mission. Opinions vary. But whatever the case, he has basically assumed regency of the nation and has outlawed us as the remaining Grey Wardens, saying that we are traitors, that we were the ones who caused the defeat. Somehow. So we're outlaws. There were some soldiers in the tavern looking for us, who we ended up having to fight. And a woman who intervened there, a priestess by the name of Leliana, intervened on our behalf and then said that it was her sort of God-given mission to join us. So she's with us now, which means we have a full complement of 4 party members, as well as our dog, who for now is named Pebble. I haven't thought of a better warhound-worthy name for him yet. And Pebble is with us as well. He is the Mabari that we helped cure of an illness back at Ostagar and imprinted on us after that. So that's where we are. We don't have a main quest sort of looming over us right now. Broadly, we need to travel past Lothering and start trying to gain allies. But while we're in Lothering, we've picked up a few side quests, so I'm going to go ahead and work on those. We have, let me see here. So in the Lothering category here, we have create a poison for Barlin. The farmer Barlin wants to place poisonous traps about his farm to protect it from quote-unquote beasties and other trespassers. He's asked for 3 flasks of venom, which we need to gather ingredients for. And then there's a chantry board, which is sort of a side quest board, literally, and has asked us to weed out 3 groups of bandits north of town. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the chantry here. And we will start exploring the area north of Lothering.
Well, I got it in summer. It was awesome in summer, but I guess it is an autumn color. Yeah.
You do not truly think I look as my mother does, do you?
Have you really been thinking about that all this time?
I am simply curious.
And not insecure in the slightest, I'm sure.
I think I look nothing like her.
I don't know. Give it a few hundred years and it'll be a spot-on match.
I said that I look nothing like her.
All right, got it. Totally different. I see that now.
Seems to have hit a sore spot there. Before I go north of town, I'm actually going to head into the tavern, because there's a couple of merchants in there I can sell some stuff to.
Did you see the new recruiters out?
I'd keep your voice down if I were you. They're pressing anyone who can hold a sword into service.
Terran wants a new army, but is it to fight them Darkspawn or those nobles shouting against them?
I've no idea, but I'm sure not about to raise my hand if you catch my meaning. Not after what happened down south.
Here's our tavern gossips again. Alright, hello, Barlin.
I heard what you did with the other merchant. Got what he deserved. Any luck with that poison? Or you here to see my stock?
Alright. I'm gonna sell him some things. I have a basic longbow. I'm gonna sell. I have a... Actually, I should outfit Liliana.
Yes?
So right now she's just in her changer robe. If we're gonna go fight, need something better than that. I'll give her the smuggler's armor set. It is a leather, light armor set. Good for rogues. Can also give her some of the DLC accessories that I have. A belt that gives +1 to all attributes, plus 10% spell resistance, plus 10% dodge chance. She has her own amulet, which is +2 to all attributes. That's very good. I'll also give her the Wicked Oath Ring, which is +2 armor penetration, +1 stamina regen, plus 10% critical damage. And the Surveyor Ring, which is +2 willpower. She's gonna need a lot of stamina because she has 2 active, like, sustained modes at a time, so that will definitely be necessary. I can also give her 38 ice arrows to shoot with. Let's see. Have I outfitted Morgan? I can give her mage boots. I do have a set of those. She has her own unique robe, which is very good. Yeah, she came with a full set of accessories. Cool.
Any luck with that poison? Or you here to see my stock?
Alright, now let's see your stock. Selling a few mismatched armor pieces that we're really not using. Oh, I should also give... I have a war paint that I can put on my dog. Hey bud, war paint of the Wolfhound. +2 damage to beasts. That is a sort of a zebra dark stripe pattern on his back. He's also already wearing a collar, which is a studded braid +2 constitution. Good dog. He has his tactics. I'm also going to add a tactic for him. Health, less than 50%. Use a dog crunch. Mabari crunch. It is a health poultice specifically for dogs. It increases their regen instead of giving them a flat boost. Bryony also has a level up that I'm going to apply right now. And she has reached level 7, where she gets her first specialization point. So the 4 rogue specializations are Assassin, Bard, Ranger, and Duelist. Let me see. Let me read them. Assassin. The assassin finds any notion of fairness, a quaint ideal that has no place in combat. Poisons are their weapon of choice, as are crippling strikes that inflict persistent wounds on their foes. As killers, assassins are a marvel of stealth and efficiency. Bard is what Liliana comes with. Bards follow an Orlesian tradition, acting as assassins, spies, saboteurs, and following other secretive pursuits in the constant and sometimes petty struggles between nobles. Having taken the minstrel's art to new levels, bards are skilled performers and master manipulators. Bards can inspire their allies or dishearten their foes through song and tale. Rangers have an affinity for open country and wilderness, but as independent scouts and militia, they are opportunists, not stewards of nature. They exploit every advantage of their environment and can lure wild beasts to attack their foes. I believe that gives you animal summons. And then Duelist. Duelists are deadly combatants who prefer to fight in light armors and strike with light but precise attacks. Experienced duelists have preternatural reflexes that allow them to evade their opponent's clumsy blows, as well as strike with remarkable precision. I think Bryony is a duelist. I was sort of debating between duelist and assassin, but right now she's more of the honorable type than the shadowy type. So I'm gonna give her that. I'm gonna increase her dexterity to 24 and her willpower to 15. And I'll give her the first level dueling talent, a sustained mode, dueling. The duelist focuses on proper form, gaining plus 10 bonus to attack while the mode is active. Once they learn further talents, they get a further plus 5. Keen defense adds a defense bonus of plus 10 and 5% dodge. If using a ranged weapon with pinpoint strike, critical chance is increased by 2%. Okay. So she will be in dueling mode. And now we have the inventory space to actually go north of town.
Some fellow in the tavern said that the Darkspawn turned folks into ghouls.
What's a ghoul?
Something like an abomination, maybe.
Oh, well, that isn't good.
There's our gossips again. Haven't run out of anything to say. Oh, we have autosave points on the way out of town.
Shokke basit isra, marade starit, merade twasit, abana kyun, maras shokra, ananne sam kyun.
There is a cage to the left of the sort of, it's not a full gate, but there's a watchtower and a sort of palisade here on the way out of town. And there's a man in a cage who is chanting in that, whatever language that is. Let me go talk to him.
You aren't one of my captors.
I remember the revered mother mentioning this man. She called him a savage from the far north.
I have nothing to say that would amuse you, elf. Leave me in peace.
You're a prisoner. Who put you here?
I'm in a cage, am I not? I've been placed here by the Chantry.
The revered mother said he slaughtered an entire family, even the children.
It is as she says. I am Sten of the Beresad, the vanguard of the Kunari peoples.
Sten has metallic gray skin, sort of reflective. He has white hair, sort of braided in cornrows. He has pointed ears and a very, very stern face, like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it, like a big eyebrow ridge, you know, very, very stern forehead, big nose, and his mouth is sort of permanently set in a frown. Kunari.
If you haven't heard of us, that is your own shortcoming. Though it matters little now, I will die soon enough.
This is a proud and powerful creature, trapped as prey for the Darkspawn. If you cannot see a use for him, I suggest releasing him for mercy's sake alone.
Mercy? I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I would also suggest that Alistair take his place in the cage.
Yes, that's what I would have expected.
I suggest you leave me to my fate.
What did you do to end up in here?
I have been convicted of murder. Have the villagers not spoken of this?
Who did you murder?
The people of a farmhold. 8 humans, in addition to the children.
Are you guilty?
Are you asking if I feel guilt or if I am responsible for the deed? However I feel, whatever I've done, my life is forfeit now.
How long have you been here?
20 days now. I shouldn't last much longer, another week at most.
That's a long time to live without food or water.
Compared to your kind, maybe.
Aren't you interested in seeking atonement?
Death will be my atonement.
So you would prefer to die?
I would prefer to die in battle, but my choices have been made.
You could help me defend the land against the Blight.
The Blight? Are you a Grey Warden, then?
Yes, I am.
Surprising. My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
Oof. Ouch. Would the revered mother let you free?
Perhaps if you told her the Grey Wardens need my assistance. It seems as likely to bring my death as waiting here.
I'll leave you for now.
Farewell, then.
To be left here to starve? Or to be taken by the Darkspawn? No one deserves that. Not even a murderer.
So I have a new codex entry on Sten, as well as a quest for him. So codex. Sten, quote, "Either you have an enviable memory, or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret. The northern islands are remote, lush jungles that harbor cities rumored to be the most extraordinary ever built. These are the lands of the Kunari, lands that no foreign eyes ever see. Only the stories of the 3 exalted marches waged against the giants have reached the south, until the arrival of Sten. The stoic giant in the cage was surely the strangest thing the people of Lothering had ever seen until the Blight struck." We have a lot of unread codex entries, which I'll work my way through eventually. For now, though, we have bandits to go weed out. I see some vague quest markers on my map, so that must be where they are. Let me head over here towards the left wall here. I see a bunch of refugees. What are these guys up to?
We done heard what was said. You're a warden. I don't know if you killed King Kalen, and make her forgive me, I don't care. But that bounty on your head could feed a lot of hungry bellies. Attack!
Oh gosh, I don't want to kill these dudes. These are just guys. 5 guys.
Here we go! You're mine! No mercy!
Oh, they had some reinforcements. I think it turned out to be 8.
With that one.
Down you go!
Oh, there's 3 more.
Yeah, that's right. What did I tell you?
Alistair just did a decapitation death blow again.
Come now, defend yourself!
Well, that was unfortunate. It didn't even give me an option to talk to him. There's a chest over here.
As you wish.
A pair of tier 2 leather gloves. Alright. I'm running along the left wall, which is not...
Are we done with this place? It may not be here later, should we leave now?
Morgan is warning me that if I leave, we won't come back. That's okay. Tier 1 leather boots in a rubble pile. So the left sort of boundary here is the built-up highway, which stands about, I don't know, 15 feet off the ground up to where it actually is. So you can't get onto it from just any place. But it is a convenient border to the edge of the world. Let's see. There's a natural ridge here running west to east with a couple of elf routes. There's also a couple of, there's a ramp up to the highway, right, which I guess is how we leave. Not leaving, so I'm gonna run eastward. Oh, there's one of the bandit groups.
Oh!
This should be easy enough.
Is that the best you've got?
I'm going straight for their
On your guard!
My dog is fighting one of their dogs.
Next! Victorious!
Victorious indeed. Quest updated. I guess that means we got one of the groups? Yeah. Not much loot. A couple of lyrium potions. We've just been engaged. Oh, there's another bandit group. We got in their sight range. They're further to the southeast.
This should be easy enough.
Town.
Hey, watch it!
Right.
Okay, go with you now.
This should be easy enough.
It's your time to Here we go! I am done with that one.
Alright. There's that group. That must be 2 out of 3. I was going to say, before we got engaged, before we got into that engagement, rather, that in the center of this big field north of town is a small hill on which is a windmill. That's very nice. That must be the town flour mill, probably. Alright. Now there's something here labeled as a landmark tree. I wonder what happens if I examine that. Your hound seems particularly interested in this landmark. Oh, does my dog have to mark this? Mabari dominance is now active. What is that? Mabari hounds, this is a codex, are descended from pack hunters, and like their ancestors, they are highly influenced by a defined order of dominance. The primary method of determining that order is by claiming territory through scent marking major landmarks. Once established, the dominant Mabari gains a substantial increase in confidence and stature within his territory, a trait that indirectly benefits master as well as hound. What that means in practical terms is that the Mabari has gained +2 strength, +2 constitution, and +2 willpower in this area. That's cool. Alright, and I see the third group. They are past that ridge on the other side of it, towards the river that marks the north boundary of this area. Ooh, they have an orange rank leader. Most of these humans we're fighting have been yellow rank. I just did a decapitation.
Let's
have We're getting sloppy! Show me what you got!
Stop your drooling and save some dignity, fool.
Again. Quest updated. Report back to the chanter. Alright. These bandits also had a chest and a sack near a little campfire. What's in the chest? Tier 2 scale armor. The sack just had some money. Bandit leader. Ooh, the bandit leader is wearing a full set of heavy chainmail as well as a tier 5 leather cap. I will give that cap to Liliana, who doesn't currently have one.
As you wish.
Pick an elf root. I see a death root. I also see
this should be easy enough.
That to the far east of this area, behind a sort of ridge on the east, is a bunch of spiders. This must be where we get our poison ingredients. They've put a web on Alistair.
Let's grab some glory!
On your guard! Time for some fun!
Yeah, that's right.
Let's make it quick, shall we?
It is a good day.
That's a lot of blood.
It's really amazing how far Liliana, like how far away she can go to be in range. She was standing like, I don't know, a good 40, 50 feet away from us.
On it.
Yeah, so I'm looting toxin extracts from all of these spiders.
This should be easy enough.
Which will be definitely enough to make the poisons that Mr. Barlin wants. So we can go back and report into him and report into the Chantry Board. Let's see. What did he want? He wanted 3 flasks of venom. So... venom. I have 6 toxin extracts and 8 flasks, so I'm just gonna make the 3 that he wants. Oh, and we also need to go talk to the revered mother about Sten. I believe I do have the lockpicking skill high enough that I could just unlock him. But I don't want to do that.
Did you speak to that knight yesterday? Said he was from Redcliffe.
He talked to everyone in the tavern. How are we supposed to know where the urn of sacred ashes is? Might as well ask us how to get to the moon.
He said that all the Redcliffe knights were looking for it, as if they didn't have anything better to do. I don't get it.
I wonder how many dialogues those guys have. Alright, hello, Barlin.
Any luck with that poison? Or you here to see my stock?
I have what you asked for.
Splendid! If those beasties come on my land, I hope it teaches them a lesson. Yeah, enough gold to cover any of your expenses and then some, hey?
He's given me 75 silvers. Alright. I have enabled a very weird old man.
I've got a cousin in the Templars. He says the mages in the tower out on Lake Calenhod are all turning into demons.
They always say that, though.
Well, this time it's true. They're not sure what to do about it yet, he says.
What's to do? I thought you killed them.
Easier said than done. Mages pick a fine time to go turning into demons, I tell you.
Okay.
So, let me get this straight. You were a cloistered sister?
You must have been a brother before you became a Templar, no?
I never actually became a Templar. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens before I took my final vows.
Do you ever regret leaving the Chantry?
No, never. Do you?
Yes. You may not believe it, but I found peace there. The kind of peace I've never known.
It used to get so quiet at the monastery that I would start screaming until one of the brothers came running. I would tell them that I was just checking. You never know, right?
No, I never did anything like that. I enjoyed the quiet.
Suit yourself. The look on their face was always priceless.
Okay. Alright, hello, Chanter Devons.
The path of righteousness is full of hardship, but the Maker smiles upon its travelers.
Alright, received 3 gold, and he has new side quests on the board. Let's see. When bears attack. On behalf of Thed the farmer and his departed son, I inscribe this missive. As the Maker is my witness, I charge all those with knowledge of arms and armor to brave the dangers of the northern wood to find the family of bears that mauled and killed the boy Ineth. For they are an abomination in the Maker's sight, and their hides would prove great comfort to the northern farms, and solace for Thed's family. As chanter for Lothering, I do pledge a sum of 1 sovereign to whoever carries out this the Maker's will. Exercise caution first and foremost, may his light bathe us all. Alright, we'll kill some bears. And a last keepsake. A thanks to all villagers who have opened their barns and crofts to the refugees in these dark times. The Chantry regularly hears praise from our visitors, and your virtuous deeds are mentioned in many prayers. Sadly, there is a lone boy in the village whose mother, Goodwife Sarah, is missing, As she has been missing for the better part of a week as of this writing, she is presumed dead. May the Maker bless her passing. She was a lady of middle years, with red hair, and fond of a green cloak. If any traveler or resident comes across her in the wilds, please return her body or the effects on her remains. In later years, the boy will be thankful to have such keepsakes to remember his brave mother by. The office of the chanter will compensate this kindness with a sum of 50 silvers. May the Maker turn his gaze on us all. Alright, so I'll accept that one as well. And we need to head into the chantry to talk to the mother about Sten.
And when the Maker spoke, the chant of light scattered in the darkness.
Here she is.
Yes? What can I do for you now?
I want to talk about Sten, the Kunari you imprisoned.
It might have been kinder to execute him, but I leave his fate to the Maker. Why does he interest you?
When I asked that, she got up and started pacing around her office. Is there any way I can convince you to release him?
Then his next victims might count you and me as their murderers.
I was thinking you might release him into my custody.
And what do you say on this, Leliana? You know your friend better than I.
These are unusual times, Your Reverence. With us, the Kunari might do some good. I am sure of it, in fact.
Were things not so desperate? Very well, I trust you. Take these keys to his cage and make her watch over you.
Thank you, Your Reverence. Your trust is not misplaced.
So she handed the key to Liliana, not to me. Quest updated. Yeah.
To the ears of the Maker. Let him hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous dedication and endurance.
So I can go let him out. At that point, if he becomes our companion, we will have to decide who to kick out of the party. At least temporarily, to let him in. Or we could wait until we're at a camp, which we will end up making after we leave Lothering. I'll probably kick Alistair out of the party for just a moment, so that he can be the warrior among us. Oh, I should save my game. I've been getting lazy. Alright, how's our inventory situation? 74 out of 80. Fine for now.
You are very beautiful, Morrigan.
Tell me something I do not know.
But you are always dressed in such rags. It suits you, I suppose. A little tear here, a little rip there to show some skin. I understand.
You understand I lived in a forest, I hope?
Maybe we could get you in a nice dress one day. Silk. No, maybe velvet. Velvet is heavier, better to guard against the cold in Ferelden. Dark red velvet. Yes. With gold embroidery. It should be cut low in the front, of course. We don't want to hide your features.
Stop looking at my breasts like that. 'Tis most disturbing.
You don't think so? And if it's cut low in the front, we must put your hair up. Show off that lovely neck.
You are insane. I would sooner let Alistair dress me.
It'll be fun, I promise. We'll get some shoes too. Shoes! We could go shopping together.
She did not have a riposte to that one. Alright, let's go talk to Sten again.
You wish something more of me?
I have the key to open your cage.
I confess, I did not think the priestess would part with it.
She agreed to release you into my custody.
So be it. Set me free and I will follow you against the blight.
well, I'll let you out.
And so it is done. I will follow you into battle. In doing so, I shall find my atonement.
Thank you, Sten. We're glad to have you with us.
May we proceed? I am eager to be elsewhere.
Alright, so I'm gonna, in the party selection screen, I'm gonna deselect Alistair.
Oh, blast it.
And select Sten. Yeah, can I select Sten?
Yes.
There we go. So he comes to us with
Be cautious.
no equipment except a set of common clothing. He is a warrior. And we need to level him all the way up to level 8. So I'm gonna give him I'm gonna set him with a focus on two-handed weapons. So I'm gonna pump his strength all the way up to 26. Dexterity, 16. Constitution, 18. Willpower, 14. Cunning, 12. And then warrior training, 3 levels, 1 level of tactics. Oh, he has 5 points. 1 level of survival. And then I'll just go ahead and give him okay. So he doesn't have, I haven't given him quite enough strength for 3rd level, or 3rd rank, two-handed talents. So instead, so he's gonna have 1 point left over. I've given him 3 ranks of the warrior tree, which is powerful, passive ability, gaining 25 health and 10% fatigue reduction, the threaten sustained mode, which lets you draw aggro, and the bravery passive, which is permanent bonuses that stack for each enemy you're engaging. And I'm going to go ahead and equip him. He may end up gaining more stat points with equipment, so I'm going to give him the chastened two-handed sword that we picked up in the wilds, and the set of heavy armor that we just found on a bandit. Heavy chainmail. Tier 2. For accessories, he doesn't come with any. I don't have any that really suit him as a warrior, but I'll give him the Guildmaster's Belt, which is +3 cunning, +5% dodge chance, +5% monetary gain, which is something, I guess. The Pearl of the Anointed, +1 to all attributes, another +5% monetary gain. Sten's gonna make us rich. And the Memory Band Ring, which I believe gives experience from codex entries. Nope, boosts all experience points by 1%. I also have the Dalish Promise Ring, which reduces hostility. I think I'm actually going to switch that out with mine, which is the Lucky Stone, +1 to all attributes. Give that to Sten instead. That might have him at enough strength for... Nope. Not enough for a 3rd rank talent, so I'll just wait. And give him the... That's not what I wanted. Give him the Tactics preset, Scrapper. Or at least we'll start with that. That is a aggressive preset. So he will always... Let's see. He has 2 sort of opposing sustained modes. Powerful Swings and Indomitable. Powerful Swings gives +5 damage, +3 armor penetration, but -10 attack, -10 defense. So that's just a flat +5 damage. Actually, no, Indomitable is the better mode, because Indomitable gives you +3 damage, +5 attack, and +5 defense, and gives you immunity to several effects. So that's better. Then Pommel Strike, which knocks somebody down. Then if the target is still healthy, then Mighty Blow. And then if the target is using a melee or ranged attack, do Sunder Arms, which gives them a -10 attack. And then I'll automatically set him to attack the nearest visible enemy after that. And when health below 50%, use item health poultice. And self. Let's see. No, when Morgan. No. When any ally is being attacked by a melee attack that is not Sten, he will activate his threatening mode to draw that aggro. I may have to fine-tune that later, because he's really not as much of a tank as Alistair will be, but I'll give him that for now. Welcome to the party, Sten. We are looking for... what are we looking for? Infected bears and an orphan's mother. I see quest markers for both of those on the map. They are both toward the east of the... oh, there's also some wolves. Hi, wolves. Liana's already shooting. There were 5 wolves in the first pack, and there are 7 more running up over the hill.
Show me what you've got! Let's get started. Next! There's one for me!
Okay.
This should be easy enough.
Lyrium potions on the wolves.
As you wish.
3 of them, actually. So I see the body that we're looking for over near the river. Marked just as corpse, but with a big arrow above it. And as mentioned, she is a red-haired woman. You found the body of the boy's mother and have recovered her keepsake. What was Sara's keepsake? Let's see. A copper filigree ring. And then the bears, I believe, are down past where the spiders were, behind a ridge. There are 3 of them. 3 black bears, rank yellow.
Let's get started.
The higher rank. Sten just got one. They were not difficult. And no loot from them. So I guess we don't get to take the hides? Maybe the village will come collect them. I think the notice did say something specifically about hides. I'm gonna switch Alistair back into the party now.
Vashaden.
Yes.
I believe that there may be negative reactions to wandering around town with the Kunari. But my inventory is actually much less full now. Hello, Chanter Devons.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just. And the stars stood still, the winds did quiet, and all animals of earth and air held their breath. all was silent in prayer and thanks.
So between all of those, I received 50 silver and something called Oathkeeper. What is that? It is a longsword, red steel, tier 5. Can I give that to Alistair? Yes. That's a big improvement over his current sword, which is tier 2 Grey Warden sword. Nice. Ooh, this is a fancy sword. It has a blue sort of glowing gem at the hilt and blue glowing runes all up and down the blade. Where Lothering got that. But I think we are out of quests here. So I'm gonna loot a few things that I passed over before. A barrel with a pair of leather boots, a couple of crates.
As you wish.
Elf root, a pair of scale boots.
This should be easy enough.
A pile of rubble with a deep mushroom. A crate with 6 flasks and a bottle of spirits. Golden size, year 490 black. Then over back on the north side of town, within the town, not up in the field. A crate with 3.5 silver.
It's the Maker's punishment, it is, for letting them mages keep on with their circles.
Should kill them now, just to be safe. Maker would thank us, I bet.
Okay, thanks guys.
I hear there isn't even really any Darkspawn down south. It's all Grey Warden work.
They're a devious lot, that's for sure.
Hey, I'm standing right here. There's a barrel with a tier 2 studded leather helmet. A chest with a large wooden shield. I believe that's tier 1. I just had some frame rate drop there. And back behind a couple houses, I see a sack with a deep mushroom.
This should be easy enough.
And an elf root in a quote-unquote pile of filth, which is lovely. I believe we're pretty much ready to head out of town. Oh, I see a chest. It is behind the tavern, I think. When I press tab, I can highlight things and it will show me names even when I can't quite reach them. In this case, there's a couple of tents that are blocking my way. I wonder if I can access it from the other side. I have to run around the palisade. Okay, yep, I see how to get to it. A health poultice. Somebody really hid that. And there's another elf root on the edge of this field. Alright, I think I'm done looting. Just grabbing all of these people's random stuff. It is time to leave Lothering. It's time for us to make our way into the world. I'm going to go ahead and run over towards the highway, and at that point I will save and probably take a break for a moment, get a snack. Stream snack. Nope. Here we go. Save game. Alright, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break and then I'll be right back. All right, we are back. It's time to head out of Lothering. I see the subtitle of someone shouting, "Someone help us," but I didn't hear it. Running up onto the highway. Oh, there's combat.
Someone help us!
Oh, there it is. Okay, so there are some darkspawn attacking what appear to be two dwarves. One standing, one kneeling. There are quite a few darkspawn. 6? Yeah, 6, including a Herlock Alpha, red tier. Let me get between them. Yeah, we drew their ire.
On it.
And that!
Here we go! You should run while you can. You had it coming! Another battle! Oh!
Alright, who is this?
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged.
The dwarf who's speaking is a middle-aged man with blonde hair, parted, and a beard that is braided into little sort of pigtails, 4, and then a larger braid down the center. He's wearing a sort of plain brown tunic, and there is another dwarf behind him, a younger man with very light blonde hair, short and curly, with big ears, sort of kind face, wearing a green and brown tunic. You're welcome.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
It's a bit complicated, but you're welcome to come along.
Complicated? Somehow I imagine that only says half of it. Thank you for the offer, but there may be more excitement on your path than is good for my boy and me. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune.
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
The mess in question seems to be a bunch of broken crates. They have a cart with an ox that sort of wandered away. And one of the broken crates we can loot.
As you wish.
It has a small carved statuette and a gray iron dagger. Some of these things that we're picking up are gifts for companions. I haven't been really looking at or reading the names of who they are gifts for, but we'll get there eventually. There's also the body of a blood mage who was not with the Darkspawn, that was there previously, with a sealed letter. New Codex, Maleficarum regrets. The letter reads, I won't go back. Let them hunt and dread finding me. But you, Melis, should not live this life. It would please me if you found a life in the Circle Tower. I left a few things there, mostly stolen from the enchanters. Sell them to fund a new path. The cache is in the study area, middle alcove. Goodbye. Signed, Belle Gruce. And that seems to be the location of a cache we can find when we go to the Mage Circle. But for now, we venture down the highway towards the Banorn.
This should be easy enough.
Should it? Should it, Bryony? Well, we're venturing forth. The loading screen says, Cunning broadens a character's access to skills and helps find weaknesses in enemy armor. Most rogue talents also receive a direct bonus from high cunning. Very good. I believe this ought to take us back to the world map. Although it really is having a hard time loading. Cutscene. A green fog looking down at a ravine with massive torches. It shudders and then rose up from that same ravine where the archdemon standing on a bridge spreads its wings, hisses fire into the air. It roars and then the screen shudders again and fades to black. Cuts to black, rather. And now we're at camp. Bryony is rolling over and sitting up, rubbing her face.
Bad dreams, huh?
Alistair is sitting opposite the fire. Sort of, neither of us are in pajamas. We're in full armor, but he's already sitting up. It seemed so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
The Archdemon? Was that the dragon?
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me, too.
Any other surprises I should know about?
Other than dying young and the whole defeat the Blight alone thing, no. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Alright, so we are at camp. For the first time, this will be a recurring location. So we're on one side of the fire with our bedroll, Alistair's on the other currently. See Liliana next to a tent that's been set up for her. She has some sort of three-necked instrument sitting beside her, as well as some food laid out. A bunch of other tents. I see Pebble, who's standing off to the side. Good dog. There's a couple of folks we can talk to over at the side. One of these starts a DLC. That's a Levi Dryden. We won't talk to him yet. Our dwarves from earlier are back.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fennec, at your service, once again. I saw your camp and remember the kind offer that you made the last time we met. And is there anywhere safer for a poor merchant and his son to sleep? I think not. I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
Have you been following us?
Following you? I'm not even certain where you're going, my friend. And quite frankly, it's none of my business. Trust me when I say that my encountering you here was serendipity and nothing more. I travel a lot, so I'm bound to meet everyone on the road eventually. If you prefer, I'll take my boy and be on my way. But regretfully, you're the safest spot on this road, without a doubt.
What are you selling exactly?
Anything, everything, but all of the finest quality. No cheap trinkets here. And my boy Sandal happens to be a bit of a hand with enchantments. Oh, yes. Sadly, it also makes us a target for bandits and the like. If there were spare hands to hire as guards, I would have done so long ago.
Let me see your wares, Bodon.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Let me see if he has anything I want to buy right now. Specifically, I want to look if he has a backpack upgrade. He does have a lot of things. Yes, he has a backpack. 7 gold, 50 cents. 50 silver, rather. So that's worth it. He also has a lot of high-level runes, some high-level, really high-level everything. But the backpack thing is all I want right now. Let me also talk to his son.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
What enchantments does he do?
He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
When he says enchantment, he's like jumping up and down, clapping his hands together. Okay, I think that's it for the quest. Farewell. Quest completed. What was the quest? I'd basically just find out about enchantment, I guess. Chaosbringer's here, welcome. You've missed some side questing. We finished with the town of Lothering. Ran some quests for the Chantry, got paid a little bit, got a cool sword, and we recruited a new party member. A Kunari, which is a tall, sort of giant race with metallic skin. From the far north, there was one named Sten who had been locked up for murder, and we were able to persuade the Chantry Mother to let him free to come with us instead. I was actually about to talk to him here.
Why are we stopping?
Hello, Sten. Well, we're working together. I think I should get to know you.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
I need to know if I can trust you at my back.
I am Kunari. I have given my word to aid you. We are not people of idle promises.
Well, I've never met a Kunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
No? Why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
You said you were in the army?
I am.
Why would the Kunari send soldiers here?
The Antam are the eyes, hands, and mouth of the Kunari. We are how my people know the world.
Have you ever fought in war?
I have always fought in war, elf.
So you must know your way around the battlefield, then.
Some of them. They aren't all alike.
Why did you offer to help me?
For the moment, you are the enemy of my enemy.
For the moment?
Yes. I am Kunari. As long as you do not make yourself my enemy, I will aid you. I can promise nothing else.
Are you alright? You were in that cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
Alright, we should get moving.
As you wish.
I actually gained +2 approval out of that. Yeah, I don't know if he has other race-specific lines there. I assume so. I like the bit about elves excelling at poverty. Further aside in the camp, Morgan has set up a sort of whole little area for herself. She has a tent. She has a couple of drying racks, it looks like. Her own campfire. Hi, Morgan.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
What do I have? How did you become a shape changer? Did you grow up in the Kokari wilds? Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry? Is Flemeth really what she seems to be? We were just in the Chantry, so let me ask about that. Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
You really had no trouble with them?
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Flemeth used you as bait?
'Twas a game, and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
What exactly is an apostate, anyway?
You do not know? The Zealots use that word for any magic they do not control. The Chantry sees any mages not leashed to the Circle of Magi as apostates, and apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true, still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit.
If I were a mage, I guess I might think the same.
Thank you for small favors, then, at the very least. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Alright, so she actually ended that conversation. I suppose while we're talking to folks, let me go ahead and say hello to Liliana. I actually meant to talk to her in Lothering, but never did.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
About this vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell, and the darkness drew me in.
What then?
When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
And this made you want to help me?
In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the Blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the Blight devours everything?
I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a Blight to stop.
Alright, +2 approval. And Alistair.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Oh, there's a lot of questions in here. So, what happens now that there's just 2 of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Logain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
Will we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Logain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
There are 2 questions I don't really want to ask here. One, where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here? Which I sort of already got. And then, what would happen if we just left? Which I don't think is in character for me to ask. So I'm going to say I have no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
That doesn't mean I don't mourn his loss.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
Well, there's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
Oh, he had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
No, I understand completely.
Of course. I'd be dead then, wouldn't I? to not like that would make him happier. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
Well, my, husband-to-be was murdered right in front of me. So was my cousin's wife. The options I have here are two that are vague. One, I've lost enough to know what you're going through. Or, I'd rather not talk about it. But then I have I saw plenty of death in the alienage.
Yes, I suppose you must have. I can't even imagine, really. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime, Alistair. Alright, +5 approval. Let me go pet my dog.
Oh, why, you little...
We see Alistair getting up from the ground in front of the dog. What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
Well, he is a war dog. He growls at Alistair.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Alright, so I guess when we click on the dog, we get cutscenes. Alright. Let me look at my inventory a bit before we head out. Oh, this is also a time I want to look at some codexes, because I am far behind on those. Alright, I have 4 new things in creatures. Bear. Codex about bears. Genlock about the Darkspawn has been updated to reflect Genlock alphas and Genlock emissaries, which we've seen. The Ogre, which we saw at the tower. Massive ogres are a rare sight on the battlefield. Scrolling down a bit, Grey Warden lore urges caution when slaying an ogre. Unless it is ensured that they have received a major wound to the head or the heart, it is possible that they are lying dormant and will regenerate to full health within a matter of minutes. During a blight, most Grey Wardens recommend burning all Darkspawn to ashes, dead ogres in particular. And then giant spiders, which we did see some of in Lothering. Codex on an item, Havard's Aegis. That was the shield that we got from the tower. Havard was Mafarath's closest friend. They were children together in the same Avar clan. They fought side by side in so many battles that Mafarath dubbed him Harvard the Aegis, better to have at his side than any shield. Mafarath brought Havard with him to meet with the Tevinters. It was unthinkable to stand before his enemies without his Aegis. When he understood that Mafarath was giving Andraste over to be executed, Havard, unwilling to draw swords against his friend and liege, placed himself between Andraste and the Tevinter soldiers. The Tevinters struck him down, and Mafarath left him for dead. But Aegis was not so easily destroyed. Havard lived and made his way, gravely wounded, to the gates of Minrathous to stop the execution. Too late. He found only the ashes of the prophet, left to the wind and rain. When his fingers touched the ash, his ears filled with song, and he saw a vision of Andraste dressed in cloth of starlight. She knelt at his side, saying, "Rise, Aegis of the Faith. The Maker shall never forget you, so long as I remember." His wounds healed instantly, and with new strength, Havard gathered up Andraste's remains and carried them safely back to the lands of the Alamari. And that was a shield we picked up. Did I give that to Alistair? I should have. I didn't. Let me do that. That is a tier 3 shield, as opposed to his Grey Warden tier 2. We have a bunch of new entries. 3 new entries in magic and religion. The Maker. This is a poem. There was no word, for heaven nor for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that would be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, In my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then, in the center of heaven, he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelt, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelt, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. From Threnodies 5, 1-8. That must be stanza numbers, not verse numbers, because that was quite a bit. So that's, I guess, the creation story of Dragon Age. So the Maker existed, and then he made heaven, or the Fade, I guess, and that was too boring. So then he started over and made Earth. We also have codex on the Imperial Chantry. This is more like an encyclopedia entry. There are those who would tell you that the Chantry is the same everywhere as it is here, that the divine in Val Royeaux reigns supreme in the eyes of the Maker, and that this fact is unquestioned throughout Thedas. Do not believe it. The Maker's second commandment, magic must serve man, not rule over him, never held the same meaning within the ancient Tevinter Imperium as it did elsewhere. The Chantry there interpreted the rule as meaning that mages should never control the minds of other men, and that otherwise their magic should benefit the rulers of men as much as possible. When the clerics of Tevinter altered the Chant of Light to reflect this interpretation of the commandment, the divine in Val Royeaux ordered the clerics to revert to the original chant. They refused, claiming corruption within Val Royeaux, an argument that grew until, in the year 487 Towers, the Chantry in Tevinter elected its own, legitimate and uncorrupted, divine Valhael, who was not only male, but also happened to be one of the most prominent members of the Tevinter Circle of the Magi. This black divine was reviled outside Tevinter, his existence an offense to the Chantry in Val Royeaux. After 4 exalted marches to dislodge these rebels, all that the Chantry in Val Royeaux accomplished was to cement the separation. While most aspects of the Imperial Chantry's teachings are the same, prohibitions against magic have been weakened, and male priests have become more prevalent. The Circle of the Magi today rules Tevinter directly, ever since the Archon Nomarin was elected in the year 734 Storm, directly from the ranks of the enchanters, to great applause from the public. He dispensed with the old rules, forbidding mages from taking part in politics, and within a century, the true rulers within the various imperial houses, the mages, took their place openly within the government. The Imperial Divine is now always drawn from the ranks of the first enchanters, and operates as Divine and Grand Enchanter both. This is utter heresy to any member of the Chantry outside of Tevinter, a return to the days of the Magisters, which brought the blights down upon us. But it exists, and even though we have left the Tevinter Imperium to the mercies of the dread Kunari, still they have endured. Further confrontation between the Black Divine and our so-called White Divine is inevitable. Written in Edicts of the Black Divine by Father David of Quirinus in the year 811 Blessed. I'm going to read one more thing and then we'll move on. The Tranquil. This is short. The Tranquil are the least understood but most visible members of the Circle. Every city of respectable size boasts a Circle of Magi shop, and every one of these shops is run by a Tranquil proprietor. The name is a misnomer, for they are not tranquil at all. Rather, they are like inanimate objects that speak. If a table wished to sell you an enchanted penknife, it could pass as one of these people. Their eyes are expressionless, their voices monotone. Incomparable craftsmen they might be, but they're hardly the sort of mages to put ordinary folk at ease. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Alright. That's what I'm going to do for Codex for now. We still have quite a bit. That was from the creatures and magic and religion categories. We still have updates in culture and history, in characters, in books and songs, spell combinations. That's shattering. When a mage casts a freezing spell, and then the creature is hit by a critical hit, the freezing can shatter and immediately destroy the creature. So that's a spell combination we've discovered, and then controls. I don't need to read these. Friendly fire, sustained abilities, party camp, specializations, etc., etc. Alright, so really what we'll have to read later is in culture and history, characters, and books and songs. But for now, I'm going to head out of camp into the open world. And I need to pick the party members that are coming with me. We've reached the point where we have 5 people and 4 slots. So really it's who do we leave behind? I think for now I'm still gonna leave behind Sten.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Because we have... I'm a rogue, and then we have Alistair, who's a warrior, he's a good frontline fighter, and then Liliana and Morgan are good on the back line, as an archer and mage, and then we also have Dog, who will be frontline. And the world map is open to us. So we have the entire map of Ferelden. Will they level up at all over time if not in your party? They will. Characters who you do not actively bring with you will always stay at minimum 1 level below you. So if you gain 3 levels out in the world, they'll at least be pushed up to that 2nd level. I don't think they gain actual experience points, but you can't really leave them behind, which is good. They just won't be on the cutting edge of experience. So we have a few places we could go. The major quest points that are identified are the Brisilian Forest to the east, which is where we would be looking for Dalish elves. Redcliffe Village, which is where Arl Eamon, who was the king's uncle and a major political player among the humans, we want to seek his aid. That is at the south end of a large lake, which sort of almost splits the country in half, or sort of forms the western border of the country, I guess. Towards the north end of the lake is the docks, which would lead us to cross the lake into the center where the circle tower is, the Circle of Magi. We want to seek the mages, and then to the west there are the Frostback Mountains, which is where we would look for an entrance to Orzammar, the underground city of the dwarves. We also have 2 DLC locations marked: Soldiers Pass in the Frostback Mountains, which is a pass towards Orlais, and Ban Loren's Lands up near, up sort of in the northwest of Ferelden, densely wooded lands. Both of those start DLC quests that I don't think I'm at the point for yet. Alistair had suggested that we go to Redcliffe first, so I will go ahead and head there. I believe that is one of the lower level quests. I know that Orzammar, where the dwarves are, is the highest one. Like the encounters there are at the highest level. Although we've been doing just fine, so I may need to turn the difficulty all the way up to hard at some point. In any case, our Bloodspot Trail is heading west along the road toward the south end of Lake Calenhad, where Redcliffe Village is. And we're loading and loading. There we go.
Look, can we talk for a moment? I need to tell you something. I should probably have told you earlier.
Alistair has stopped us outside the village. We can sort of see it in the fog in the background. I see a windmill turning. What's on your mind?
Well, let's see. How do I tell you this? We're almost at Redcliffe. Did I say how I know Arl Eamon exactly?
Why? Are you his son?
No, I'm not his son. I'm a bastard. My mother was a serving girl at Redcliffe Castle, and she died when I was born. Arl Eamon took me in and raised me before I was sent to the Chantry. The reason he did that was because, well, because my father was King Marek, which made Kaelin my half-brother, I suppose.
What? You don't think you might have told me this before?
How? When would I say that? Oh, by the way, King Marek had sex with a servant and she produced a bastard son. That's me. I would have told you, but it never really meant anything to me. I was inconvenient, a possible threat to Kaelin's rule, and so they kept me secret. I'd never talked about it to anyone. Everyone who knew either resented me for it or they coddled me. Even Duncan kept me out of the fighting because of it. I didn't want you to know as long as possible. I'm sorry.
I think it is implied that the other party members are, in fact, hearing this. At least they're standing right behind me in this scene. Does Loghain know?
Why wouldn't he? He was King Marek's best friend. I don't know if that means anything, though. I certainly never considered the idea that it might ever be important. Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, despite all the problems it caused with the king so soon after the war. He loved her a great deal. Anyway, the new Arlessa resented the rumors which pegged me as the Arl's bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10. Just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence. I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall, and it shattered, Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Jarl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
And you think the Jarl will help us?
I think so, yes. This news we've heard about him being sick disturbs me, though. I wonder if we won't discover that Loghain has come to the same conclusion as we have. So there you have it. Now can we move on? And I'll just pretend you still think I'm some nobody who was too lucky to die with the rest of the Grey Wardens.
It's not really what you think, is it?
No, I suppose not. I don't feel very lucky at all, to be honest.
And he turns away and walks down the hill. Alright, +2 approval out of that. Must have said something right. Codex updated on Redcliffe. King Calanhad Therin once famously declared, "The fate of Redcliffe is the fate of all Ferelden." Certainly, the castle is the first and last defense for the sole land route into Ferelden, and the country has never fallen to any force that did not first capture Redcliffe. The castle, which despite being 3 times captured, is popularly described as unassailable, also guards one of the largest and most prosperous towns in Ferelden. Redcliffe village is well situated near the mountain pass to Orzammar and the Orlesian border, and so serves as a center of foreign trade. For these reasons, Redcliffe is accounted an Arling, despite the smallness of the domain. The inhabitants of Redcliffe village are primarily fishermen or merchants who ship dwarven goods through the pass from Orlais to Denerim. When the entire village smells of smoked fish on certain late autumn mornings, the merchants in their finery do their utmost to pretend otherwise. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Alright, so we are at the... it looks like we're at the top of a hill, sort of. There's a bridge over a rushing waterfall that we have to cross. Although I will pick this death route first. There's a house up here with a ram and a goat in its farmyard. Otherwise, just the passage back to the world map. There's somebody standing on the other side of this bridge.
I thought I saw travelers coming down the road, though I scarcely believed it. Have you come to help us?
What do you mean? Is there a problem?
So you don't know? Has nobody out there heard?
This is a young man with blonde hair. He has one braid running down the left side of his head. He has dark eyebrows, blue eyes, and a bow strung on his back. What are you talking about? Heard what?
We're under attack. Monsters come out of the castle every night and attack us until dawn. Everyone's been fighting and dying.
Apparently everyone seems to agree that a blight is the perfect time to start killing each other. Marvelous, really.
We've no army to defend us, no Arl and no king to send us help. So many are dead, and those left are terrified they're next.
Hold on, what is this evil that's attacking you?
I don't rightly know. I'm sorry, nobody does. I should take you to Ban Tegan. He's all that's holding us together. He'll want to see you.
Ban Tegan, Arlemon's brother. He's here.
Yes. It's not far, if you'll come with me.
Okay, was not given a choice, so we are following Tomas. And getting a perspective down the hill into the village, so that must be where we're going. Alright, we are in a building, looks like the Chantry. I see refugees on the floor, sitting, lying, and sleeping.
It's Thomas, yes? And who are these people with you? They are obviously not simple travelers.
No, my lord. They just arrived, and I thought you would want to see them.
Well done, Thomas. Greetings, friends. My name is Tegan, Ban of Rainisfere, brother to the Arl.
I remember you, Ban Tegan. Though the last time we met, I was a lot younger and covered in mud.
Covered in mud? Alistair? It is you, isn't it? You're alive! This is wonderful news!
Still alive, yes. Though not for long if Ten Logain has anything to say about it.
Indeed. Logain would have us believe all Grey Wardens died along with my nephew, amongst other things.
The sister of Tegan and Eamon was the mother of King Kaelin. Tegan is a middle-aged man with red blonde hair. He has that same hairstyle with one braid down the left side. He's wearing silver plate armor and carrying a sword and a shield. No, not all of us died.
So you are a Grey Warden as well. A pleasure to meet you. I wish it were under better circumstances. You're here to see my brother. Unfortunately, that might be a problem. Eamon is gravely ill. No one has heard from the castle in days. No guards patrol the walls, and no one has responded to my shouts. The attack started a few nights ago. Evil things surged from the castle. We drove them back, but many perished during the assault.
What evil things are you talking about?
Some call them the Walking Dead. Decomposing corpses, returning to life with a hunger for human flesh. They hit again the next night. Each night they come, with greater numbers. With Kaelin dead and Logain starting a war over the throne, no one responds to my urgent calls for help. I have a feeling tonight's assault will be the worst yet. Alistair, I hate to ask, but I desperately need the help of you and your friends.
It isn't just up to me. Though the Grey Wardens don't stand much chance against Logain without Arl Eamon.
I can't decide, I'm not the main character. Of course we'll help.
How pointless to help these villagers fight an impossible battle. One would think we had enough to contend with elsewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. This means more to me than you can guess. Thomas, please tell Murdoch what transpired. Then return to your post.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, there is much to do before night falls. I put 2 men in charge of the defense outside. Murdoch, the village mayor, is outside the chantry. Sir Perth, one of Eamon's knights, is just up the cliff at the windmill, watching the castle. You may discuss with them the preparations for the coming battle.
I want to discuss the situation with you first.
Of course.
What exactly are these things that attack the village?
I do not know. They seem to be walking corpses, men with rotting flesh that continue to attack even with the gravest injuries.
Undead? Spirits possessing the dead. There could be several causes behind such a thing, none of them pleasant.
You have some of Arl Eamon's knights here.
I have those few who returned from their quest. You know of this, yes?
Their search for the Urn of Sacred Ashes?
Yes, I question Isolde's decision to send so many knights in search of this relic. But I am a practical man, whereas she is a woman of great faith. Sir Perth was one of the knights sent on this quest. Perhaps you should speak to him if you wish to learn more.
Why are you in the chantry with the villagers?
Sir Perth insists. He wants me to be with the villagers, so everyone he needs to protect is in one place. I don't mind, to be honest. The point of all this is to protect the villagers, and I can do that best here. This is the last line of defense, should things go amiss.
Do you need more men in here with you?
We could bring some men in to stand beside me, but I'd rather keep the monsters away from the villagers if possible.
So, what happens after this battle is over?
Hopefully we can find the source and stop it before it causes any more damage. With luck, we'll also find Eamon and be able to help him.
Alright, I should get to work.
Very well. Luck be with you, my friend.
Morgan disapproves -5. Alistair and Liliana approve +2. So maybe we don't use Morgan. Maybe we use Stem for this. Well, I don't know what he would think. Okay, so Redcliffe is under attack by the undead, and we have 1 day to prepare. That is 1 day in vague terms. There's no, like, timer mechanic. This isn't Majora's Mask or anything like that.
Let us pray. Blessed art thou who exists in the Maker's
in the
sight.
side room of the chantry,
Blessed art thou
there
who
is a
seeks
woman,
his
Mother
forgiveness.
Hannah, praying
Blessed
with,
art thou who
some women and
seeks his
children.
return.
Why
haven't Mother
Blessed is the
and Father
prophetess, his
returned
daughter,
yet?
sacrificed to the holy flame.
They're
May the
gone,
chant reach the
dear
Maker's
boy.
ears
Gone
and tell
on a
him of
long
our
trip.
contrition.
When will they be
just got a
back?
book with
I
a
miss
codex on
them.
the founding
Be
of the
brave,
chantry.
young man. Your parents will want that.
There's too much talk happening there. There's another bookshelf.
I'm scared, Mother. When are the bad men coming?
Soon, darling. Don't worry. Everything will be alright.
Codex
I want to go
on
home.
demonic possession.
Where's Father? Why can't we go home?
There's a book that somebody is sleeping on, but I can
is
still read
outside
it.
defending the village from the bad men.
A discussion
We must
of
stay
the
here and be
Chantry
brave.
calendar.
Can you do that?
I guess so.
Alright, I'm gonna start talking to everyone with a name. Let me talk to Mother Hannah.
You are of elven blood and a stranger, yet you defend a home that is not your own. We are grateful for that.
Is there a reason I shouldn't help?
Many elves claim we wouldn't do the same in return. I would like to think that is not true, but I cannot speak for all. Allow me to introduce myself. I am revered Mother Hannah, head of this chantry, which for the moment is a place of refuge for these poor villagers.
How awful this must be for you all. Is this everyone who's left?
All those who cannot defend themselves, yes. They are terrified of tonight's attack, and I fear these walls will not keep them safe. What can I do to help with your task?
Just how safe is the Chantry?
It is the sturdiest building in the village. The women, elderly, and children will stay here during the battle, while the militia and knights protect them. They set up a barricade outside the Chantry to keep monsters from getting inside. If anything gets in, Ban Tegan is our only defense. Please, have mercy. Help these people. Do whatever you can.
I should go.
May the Maker watch over you, child.
I could have asked for her blessing, but I don't really feel like getting preyed on. Let's see, there's a woman named Irenia. Who are
Good
you?
day.
Not somebody I can interact with yet. Maybe a quest for later. There's a woman named Jetta. I believe this is who we are to deliver the lockbox we found in the wilds. Was to go to Jetta in Redcliffe.
You're a Grey Warden, right? Were you in Ostagar? In the Korkari Wilds? My husband and son went there to bring the chant of light to the chastened. But I haven't heard from them since.
She's a middle-aged woman with dark hair pulled back in a bun. She's wearing a pretty plain brown dress. Are you Jetta?
I am. You've heard of me?
I have something here from your husband.
Oh? Oh, his lockbox. If you're bringing me this... Oh no. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for bringing this to me. It means a lot to... Maker's blessings upon you.
Alright, quest complete.
I'm so scared, Father. What are we going to do?
Silence, girl. Do you want the children to hear you?
But night is coming. The monsters will return and we sit here and wait for them.
We have no choice. We must pray and hope for the Maker's compassion.
Alright, there's a woman over here with a side quest mark. Her name is Caitlin.
So many. Sorry. Am I bothering you? I'll try to be more quiet.
Are you alright? Why are you crying?
Those things dragged my mother away. I don't know what happened to her, but I hear her screaming all the time. Everywhere.
How terrible, you poor thing. I wish there was something we could do to help.
And now my brother Bevan, he ran off. I don't know where he is. I'm so scared they got him too.
Why would he run off? Do you know?
He said something about saving Mother. He's just a little boy. He doesn't understand she's gone.
If he has foolishly run off, then he is no doubt dead. You should get used to that fact.
Nice. Maybe you want to kick her in the head while you're at it.
Shall we comfort her with lies? If she is to face death, better she face it honestly.
I hope he didn't try to go to the castle. Oh, that would be awful.
Caitlin, I believe the game is trying to make her look like a teenager. Although all of the people are the same size. But she has a freckly face and short blonde hair, sort of falling messily around her head. Have you tried looking for your brother?
I went to our house. It's by the square. He wasn't there. I searched the rest of the village too. I called and I called, but he never answered. I wonder if he ran off into the woods. I'm so worried. Without me, he has nobody.
You need to be strong, girl.
I understand, I do. I'm just so afraid for him.
That voice actress is putting in a lot of work. Alright, so we have a quest to look for him. A missing child. That's one side quest in Redcliffe, and then we also have 2 parts of the main quest. We need to talk to the mayor, Murdoch, and the knight, Sir Perth. I'm gonna go ahead and head out of the chantry. We didn't actually get to see the village, because we got sort of yanked down here by a cutscene. So outside the chantry...
Do you think it's something in the water?
We have the town square where a bunch of militia are practicing shooting at targets. There's another couple guys standing
we don't
around.
have the men we need, and their numbers just keep growing each night.
Well, sure, they take the dead and they, you know...
I don't want to think about that.
I guess this might be the last night after all. The king isn't coming. Nobody is.
So what can we do? Leave? Try to get out of the village?
And abandon everyone? No, we fight.
We've no other choice.
That was the 3 men archery practice talking. There's a barricade, sort of made out of pieces of fence, some barrels, a couple of overturned tables.
Tell them to maintain watch. I don't want a surprise attack before the sun goes down.
Yes, sir. What should we do until then?
Pray, and hope for a miracle.
That barricade has been set up with about a 50-foot perimeter around the chantry. And Murdoch is standing right in front of it. He was just giving orders. Hello, Murdoch.
So you're the Grey Warden, are you? I didn't think they made women Grey Wardens.
Rude. I'm not here to chat. What can I do to help?
We need what little armor and weapons we got repaired, and quickly, or half of us will be fighting without either. Owen's the only blacksmith who can do it, but the stubborn fool refuses to even talk. If we're to be ready for tonight, we'll need that crotchety bastard's help.
Why does Owen refuse to talk to you?
His daughter, Valena, is one of the Alessa's maids, so he hasn't heard from her since this whole business started. He demanded we attack the castle, break down the gate, and force our way in. I said it was impossible, but he wouldn't listen. He's locked himself in the smithy now. I can't force him to do repairs. He said he'd rather die first.
Nobody else can do it?
Not by nightfall, and not well enough that I'd be happy to test it in combat. If there were others, don't you think I'd ask them?
Is there anything else you need?
We could use some extra bodies. Having a veteran like Dwin in the militia would help a lot, but he flat out refuses.
Tell me about Dwin.
He's a trader, a dwarf, lives near the lake. Locked himself up in his home with some of his workers, he has. Says he doesn't need any of us. We could use somebody with his fighting experience, but he won't come out.
I want to discuss something else.
Shouldn't you be trying to reason with Owen?
Oh, okay. That just brings me back to I have some questions, or I'll go talk to him then.
Don't drink with him. That's how he sucks you in. Just my luck, our success hinges on the most foolish drunk of a smith ever to grace the Maker's lands.
Okay, so we need to find the blacksmith Owen. We also need to look for the dwarf Dwin. So the various houses of the village are in front of us, around the square here. The river that's coming down as a waterfall is running through the wheel of a mill and out into what looks like a lake. This must be Lake Calenhad, sort of the docks here. And then there's a path back up the hill toward the top where we came in. I'm gonna head up there first because there's a knight we need to talk to, who they said was up top, before exploring the village. Let's see. Halfway up there seems to be... What's up? What's here? What's this building? This is... Oh, the tavern. Okay. So that's about halfway up the hill. There's also what looks like a dry dock, like an abandoned ship construction, with, if we run up the scaffolding here, there's a chest at the top, and a wooden crate. Let's see. In the crate we have an injury kit, lesser injury kit.
Allow me. I could do that for you.
And the chest was locked beyond our ability, so we had to break it open. A pair of skill gloves. Alright. Greater and lesser injury kits have to do with how many injuries they heal. A lesser injury kit heals 1 injury. A regular sized one, I think, heals 3. And you gain an injury every time you go down in battle, which we haven't really dealt with yet. Maybe when we get past this battle, which is usually actually pretty
There
hard.
are many great tales of lost kings who return to their lands to reign in glory.
I am not lost, nor for that matter, a king. And there's nothing glorious about me.
You are Merrick's son. You are the rightful king of Ferelden.
I am the son of a starstruck maid and an indiscreet man who just happened to be king. Look, I can't be king. Some days I have trouble figuring out which boot goes on which foot.
Complete fools are made leaders of kingdoms all the time, and you're not a complete fool.
What an utter relief.
And don't worry about the boots. Kings don't need to dress themselves. That's what advisors are for, isn't it?
And starstruck maids, apparently.
Liliana thinks he should be king. Alright. Up the hill. There's a pretty steep set of stairs here. Not stairs so much as like planks stuck into various parts of the hillside to act as stair steps. And we have the knight Sir Perth up by the windmill up top.
Greetings, Grey Warden. I am as relieved as Ban Tegan is to see you here. I must admit, I do not know how to address an elf in your position. I do not wish to be rude.
Call me whatever you'd call a human.
Please take no offense then, my good woman, for I meant none. I am Sir Perth, until recently in direct service of Arl Eamon of Redcliffe. For now my charge is defending the village from these evil assaults. Would that I had chosen not to seek out the urn of sacred ashes. Perhaps I would have fended off whatever evil befell the castle, or perhaps I would be dead. Ah well, with the Grey Warden aiding our defense, perhaps all is not lost.
That's 2 Grey Wardens, thank you very much. Sir Perth is a young man with freckles on his face and a stubbly beard. He has auburn red hair parted down the center and is wearing sort of almost purple tinted metal plate armor. Is there anything I can do to help?
We have sufficient armor and weapons, but my knights are too few to stand against the monsters without assistance. Perhaps you could approach Mother Hannah in the Chantry for some holy protection against these evil creatures. Otherwise, I do not know what else you could provide beyond your own talents. We're as prepared for the onslaught as we could possibly be, all things considered.
I have some questions for you.
Ask me whatever you wish.
Yeah, this sounds very scripted, you're right. Tell me about what's happened here.
You know about as much as I do. I returned a day before the attacks began, having heard strange rumors about the abandoned castle. I was the only knight to survive the first attack. Since then, I found others returning from the Arlessa's quest. Until we get to the source of this evil, though, I do not think it will stop, and I don't believe we will be enough.
Tell me about your quest for the Sacred Urn.
When the Isle fell sick, we were at a loss. Nothing worked to cure him, and he just kept getting worse. Finally, Arlessa Isolde came up with a plan. The Urn of Sacred Ashes is a legendary artifact said to hold great healing powers. If found, it might save him.
According to the legend, the followers of Andraste brought her ashes back to Ferelden to hide them from the Imperium.
We knights volunteered to seek it out. Few of us have returned. Many are still out there, unaware of what is happening here.
Just what was the Arl sick with?
We were never certain. He thirsted for water and then grew weaker and weaker. We brought in a mage, but even that did nothing. The Arlessa believed he was cursed and that we needed the power of Andraste herself, or he would surely perish.
Can no one find the other knights and bring them back?
Eventually, perhaps. The ones I have here were those near enough to recall within the last few days. I only returned myself because I was passing by Redcliffe and heard the news of strange attacks.
Why did the Arlessa believe anyone could find the urn?
The Jarl once employed a scholar, Brother Genetivi. He had proof the urn was in Ferelden, or so I was told.
I want to discuss something else.
As you wish.
What is your status? I can go back to asking questions. I think I'm good. Carry on.
As you wish, Grey Warden. Make a watch over you.
So he wants me to talk to the Chantry Mother to get divine protection. I guess I'll go back down there. The other knights...
No word from the castle?
No, all is still, as it has been for days. And it is an unnatural stillness, as though there is naught in there but death.
Say no more. The Jarl lives, and I will not listen to your inauspicious chatter.
So there's 3 other knights besides himself. There's a landmark tree, which I think is for the dog. Hey, Pebble. Come here, boy. Yes, Mbari dominance is now active in Redcliffe. There's also a flower here called Andraste's Grace that I can pick up. That is a gift for Liliana, eventually. And a wooden crate near the
it's
windmill.
sort of like coming home again, but with more undead.
Alistair comments on the view. The view from the windmill is actually quite nice. You can see a couple of ships in the harbor. I see the bridge in the distance over to the castle, which is quite large. And then overlooking the lake, which sort of fades into fog. In the crate is a longbow. That's, it must have been disassembled. That crate is not big enough for a bow. And what's in the windmill? We can actually go inside it. There is a crate.
As you wish.
I mean, there's more things in here. Oh, there's a love letter. A note between wealthy paramours. New codex. This is a codex that will collect embarrassing personal communications between the spoiled wealthy and their objects of accession. Letter 1. You are filthy, a beast. Such depravity I have never been forced to suffer. How words are so laden when they leave your lips is beyond decent imagining. Madam, I love you. By Sir Oggold. Okay, so somebody's been sneaking up to the windmill. Nothing else in here. I mean, there's plenty in here, just nothing we can loot. The big grindstone with its rollers, a lot of sacks by the side, a lot of hay to the side. Or I guess maybe that's wheat that's to be ground up? I don't know how mills work. Alright, so we need to head back down. Maybe we'll check out the tavern on our way. The tavern is sort of at the midpoint of the path down, but it's up a hill of its own. So it is sort of on level with the windmill, just on a different hill. Let's see, what's in here? Who is in here? There's somebody named Berwick. There's a long table with a chessboard, some bottles on it. Berwick's the only one sitting there. Fireplace in the corner, a couple of nice rugs. There's the bartender. And there's a chessboard on the bar. And there's 3 militiamen in the corner. And a serving girl named Bella.
As you wish.
There's also graffiti on the tavern counter. Graffiti in Redcliffe's tavern. Don't eat the cheese. Thank you. And that codex experience was enough to level up Morgan. Hi, Bella.
Another doomed soul come to drown their sorrows here, I see. If you came here for a drink, you'll have to talk to Lloyd. He's got a vice grip on the spigots. I'm just here to keep the boys from mutiny.
Shouldn't you be at the chantry?
Later on, yes. Lloyd will lock himself in the cellar, and I'll go to the chantry. Are you fighting tonight?
She's a young woman with red hair and a very elaborate braid, sort of tucked up behind her head. She's wearing a pretty standard apron, light red over a white dress. Yes, I am fighting tonight.
That's good to hear. I didn't know that.
So, what do you know about that elf in the corner?
Not much. He's very quiet. Says his name's Beric and he's here to meet his brother, but I think he's lying. He's a bit creepy.
How's business been?
What business? Without the castle soldiers, the only customers we have are local. And they're all in the militia with no money to spend. The few with any money are here, but it's not enough to justify working. Lloyd's a greasy pig. And if I didn't need this job so badly,
You don't care for Lloyd, I take it.
He gropes me and pays me next to nothing. But I suppose it could be worse. Not like I've got many options.
No, that's pretty bad, actually. Why don't you leave?
And go where? With no money and no prospects, I just end up somewhere else working for someone worse.
You could leave if you had some help.
You mean after the fighting's over? I'd really like that. What would I have to do in return?
I can say, how about you don't end up at another tavern? Or, nothing at all, I'm glad to help. Or, back out of this. How about don't end up at another tavern?
Well, I can't promise that, but thank you. I don't really know what to say.
Alright, I should go.
Keep safe.
So I have promised to help her out after the battle. Let's talk to Berwick.
Not looking for company.
He is a male elf with brown hair and a ponytail behind his head. He has a bow on his back and he's wearing splint armor. I hear you're Berwick.
What? How did you know that? Well, that's my name. Why?
You seem awfully nervous. Why is that?
No reason. I just didn't know how you knew my name. That's all.
I asked around.
Oh, I guess that, makes sense. Look, you're very pretty and all, but I was told to... just leave me alone.
What do you mean? What were you told to do?
Nothing. Nobody told me to do anything. Just because you're a Grey Warden doesn't mean you can go around threatening people.
Okay, I can just go for, and how do you know I'm a Grey Warden? Although I am wearing Grey Warden armor. So I don't know if you picked up on that. I can pass a persuade check to just say, tell me what you're hiding. I can have an intimidation check to actually threaten him. Or I can back off. I'll go for the persuasion check. This will be easier if you just tell me what you're hiding.
I don't want trouble. I'm going to the chantry now. Just leave me alone.
That must have failed. Now I either have the intimidation check, stop right there, answer my questions, or else. Or I can back off. I don't trust this guy. I'm gonna intimidate him. Stop right there. Answer my questions, or else.
All right, I'll tell you. Just don't hurt me. This is more than I bargained for. Look, they just paid me to watch the castle and send word if anything should change. But they never said anything about monsters. I haven't even been able to report anything since this started. I'm stuck, same as you, I swear.
Who are they? Who hired you to do this?
A tall fellow. I forget his name. He, said he was working for Hal. Arl Rendon, how? He's an important man, Terran Loghain's right hand. So I didn't do anything wrong.
What are you supposed to watch the castle for?
Just to report any changes, honest. All I could send word about was the Arl getting sick. After that, monsters started coming from the castle.
So you know how this happened? Tell me now.
I don't know anything about these creatures. When the Arl got sick, I got scared that people would think I was involved. But I swear I don't know anything about it. They sent me to watch. Maybe they knew the Arl would get sick. I don't know.
How do I know you're telling the truth?
Here, this is a letter from them. It has instructions and everything. Keep it. Do whatever you want with it. I just thought I was serving the king and making a bit of coin on the side. You have to believe me.
Alright, now I can tell him what I want him to do. I can tell him to leave. Or kill him, which is extreme. Or make him defend the village. I'm gonna go with that one. I think you should help defend Redcliffe tonight.
Oh, all right. I'll do it. Thank you for your mercy. I won't forget it.
Yeah. New Codex, Berwick's letter. Berwick, we need your eyes and ears in Redcliffe. Stay in the village, keep your head down, and watch the castle. Report any changes, and you'll be well paid. Not signed. Good, so he'll help. I know this battle tends to be pretty hard, so we need all the help we can get. Now let's talk to the barkeep, Lloyd.
Hello there, friend. Can't say we've ever met before. Stranger to the village, I take it. Haven't had many travelers lately. All this nonsense is bad for business. Bet you regret coming, yes?
He's a middle-aged man, heavy-set, wearing a leather apron, it looks like, with blonde hair, pretty short. What do you mean?
Oh, you know, evil creatures, impending doom, civil war, and the Earl's dead in the castle. Makes you thirsty, don't it? So, what'll it be? You are here to drink, I hope?
Who are you, anyway?
Name's Lloyd. We don't get many elves out here. You're a runaway from the city.
I'm a Grey Warden.
Ah, well, learn something new every day. Something else I can get for you?
Answer a few questions for me.
Fine. Make them quick.
Why are you still open?
I'm not abandoning my tavern because of a few monsters. The second I'm in the chantry, Murdoch and his men will be here drinking all my ale.
Shouldn't you be helping them defend the village?
Why? When them creatures attack, I lock myself in the cellar, just batten the hatches and wait it out. What's the point in getting myself killed with all the rest of them? If that makes me a coward, then I'm a coward.
Alright, then be a coward if that's what you want. I have an option here to intimidate him into fighting in the militia, but I'm getting the sense that he wouldn't help.
Well, yes. I suppose that is what I want.
What do you know about what's happened here?
Not a lot. Castle guards stopped coming in about a week back. It's unusual, too. They were my main source of business. After a few days, I thought it strange enough to ask. But nobody heard anything. Anyone going up to the castle didn't come back. When the first attack hit, I locked myself in the cellar. I say we just wait for help to come.
Alright. Let's talk about something else.
Something else I can get for you?
Let me see what you have.
Right. I've got some supplies, too, in case you're interested. With the store closed down, it doesn't hurt to pick up some of the slack, eh?
Alright, he's selling health poultices, injury kits, Mimbari crunch, stamina drafts, infinite number of flasks, if I wanted to do crafting, some deep mushrooms, some elf root, and ale. I will not buy anything. Alright. Not a ton to do in the tavern. Just, meet Bella, who deserves better, and Lloyd, who doesn't deserve anything. Alright, back down to the village. So Berwick is now sort of pacing around in the square. What do we have to do? We need to talk to Owen the blacksmith. We need to find Dwyn, and we need to seek out divine protection. Well, it looks like the blacksmithy is right here, by the square. Although it is locked.
Go away. Curse you! Leave me in peace! You've already taken everything out of my stores. There's nothing left.
Alistair just shrugs. Is this Owen the blacksmith? I need to speak with you.
Huh? Who is that? What do you want? I've been through enough.
I can try and persuade him. I'd prefer not to speak through the door. Can I come in?
Certainly not. I don't know you and I don't want to. Off you go.
Persuade again. Please, I just want to talk to you.
All right. I don't know why you're so determined. Here, I'll get the locks.
Alright, so we are going to be allowed in. I think I failed that first one.
Maker's breath. What is that smell? It's like someone set a brewery on fire.
Somebody's been drinking.
So I let you in. You wanted to talk. Now we're talking. Mind telling me who you are?
He's an elderly man with white hair, parted, and a gray hair more than white, and a scraggly beard. He's wearing brown clothes. My name is Bryony. I'm a Grey Warden helping Ban Tegan.
A Grey Warden, is it? It takes all kinds. Funny, you didn't sound like an elf through the door. Can't say I expected that. Anyhow, my name's Owen, though you might already know that. Care to join me as I get besotted? Or is there something in particular you wanted?
Why have you locked yourself in the smithy?
My girl, Velena, is one of the Alessa's maids, and she's trapped up there in the castle, but the mayor won't send anyone for her. She's been my life since my wife passed on 2 years ago. Now she's dead, or soon to be. I don't care what happens to me or the village, or anyone!
So you intend to drink yourself to death?
Why not? It's not like we're going to live past the night anyhow. Or are you going to save us?
Well, I intend to try.
Is that so? Maybe it's the drink talking, but you almost sound like you believe that. It'd do me the world of good to think maybe someone like you could go in and find her. Provided any of us live through the night.
What about the militia? They need your help.
If you look for Velena, I'll reopen the smithy and make some repairs for the militia. I can do that much.
Alright, I'll do my best.
Not good enough. Murdoch said the same damn thing, and I didn't believe him either.
You were asking a great deal, you wretched little man.
I want a promise. Promise me that you'll look for her. That you'll bring her back to me if you can.
Whew. I can say, I promise you I'll find her. That's a big promise. But no one can get into the castle right now, or just refuse. I'm not promising anything. Or I can say, what's stopping me from lying to you? Well, I do want his help, so I'll give him the promise. I promise you, I'll find her.
I'll accept that. It's something to hope for, at least.
Oh, lovely. Shall we next begin rescuing kittens from trees?
Right then. It seems I have some work to do relighting the forge, and I suppose I'll have to find some iron. Maybe at the mill. Oh, Murdoch just better send his men here as soon as possible if I'm gonna get to all these repairs and get them done by nightfall. If you need anything done, well, just let me know. I've got a lot to do now, so you'll have to excuse me.
Morgan disapproves -5. Look, Morgan, sometimes you have to promise to help a guy so that he'll do repairs for the militia. That's just how it goes. Alright.
Let's get started.
let's go back outside. And we can report to Murdoch that Owen is back in business.
Well, it looks like Owen's finally doing the repairs we need. The damn fool is falling over a drunk and still manages to make smithying look easy. Good enough, I say. I'll send one of my men to inform Bantegan the militia is ready for battle.
Oh, hold on. I'm not ready. How's morale?
Morale's about what you'd expect. These men aren't soldiers. They're villagers defending their homes, and they're frightened. Since you convinced Owen to start repairs, we're pretty well armed now. That is a relief, let me tell you. We're better off now that we've sufficient arms. I don't know that we're ready for the battle, really, but were we ever? Is there anything else?
I'll be back. I need to check on something.
Right. Let's hope we see morning.
So there is a dialogue there that I can pick when I'm ready to sort of skip to sundown and make our stand, but I am not ready because I haven't explored any of the village houses yet. I need to go loot a chest in Owen's backyard for a gray iron mace. And then we need to find Dwin still. Let me look in the houses. Let me see which houses I can go into. The houses here are down by the water, and so they're all sort of up on stilts. It's a very weird sort of network of platforms and ramps to get between all these houses. Oh, here's one. This is Dwin's home. And I can unlock it with my lockpicking, I guess. The door is locked and looks as if it has been recently repaired. I'll knock first. There's no response. Hello? No one answers. Alistair shrugs. Alright, I'll pick the lock. You failed to pick the lock. It is now hopelessly jammed. Alright. Well, I'm not going to break down the door. That's extremely rude. Either there's nobody home or they're extremely refusing to see us, so... yeah, can knock again, I guess. Yeah, no response. I do not feel like breaking into a man's house just to demand that he help out. You know, seems weird take. Ooh, there's a general store. Nobody's working it. So I guess I just loot. There's a barrel. There's lamp oil in these barrels. That has updated my quest. Find a use for the barrels of oil.
As you wish.
Allow me. I could do that for you.
And a chest with 4 fire arrows in it. And a note. A shopping list. Sugar. Wheat flour. Fillet knife. Ginger, parentheses, for Grandpa's flatulence. Ink. Cod liver oil. Dried mushrooms. Rouge, parentheses, or legion. Also, remember to ask if more beeswax will be available soon. Okay, thanks for that, game. But I did find some oil, so I guess maybe we're supposed to set fire traps? That seems... like a bad plan. But a plan that the game wants me to make. I don't see any other houses I can go into over here. I can go down to the dock.
I'm wondering, Morrigan, do you believe in the Maker?
Certainly not. I've no primitive fear of the moon, such that I must place my faith in tales so that I may sleep at night.
But this can't all be an accident. Spirits, magic, all these wondrous things around us, both dark and light. You know these things exist.
The fact of their existence does not presuppose an intelligent design by some absentee father figure.
So it is all random then. A happy coincidence that we are all here.
Attempting to impose order over chaos is futile. Nature is, by its very nature, chaotic.
I don't believe that. I believe we have a purpose. All of us.
Yours, apparently, being to bother me.
Let's get started.
Alright, there's a barrel down by the docks with a mushroom in it. Otherwise, not much. But there's a sign posted, Lake Calenhad, no swimming. Which has given me a codex on the lake. The waters of Lake Calenhad are steeped in legends. The Avar people say that it was once the site of Belenas, the mountain which stood at the center of the world, from which Korth, the mountain father, surveyed the earth and sky. But it was destroyed in the battle between Korth and the serpent Nathramar, leaving only a vast crater behind. When the Lady of the Skies saw that Belenas was gone, she wept, and her tears filled the crater, making the lake. The Tevinters believed that the waters of Lake Calenhad were blessed by Razakale, god of mysteries, and that those who drank from them were granted special insights. This was why they built a great tower on an island in the middle of the lake, hoping the powers of the lake would aid their magical research. But most of us know the legend of King Calenhad, which gives the place its name. It is said that Calenhad Therin spent a year and a day in the Tower of the Magi. Each day he drew a single cupful of water from the lake and carried it to the Formari at the top of the tower. By magic, each cup of water was forged into a single ring of the mail armor the circle gave to Calenhad. In that armor, made from the lifeblood of the land itself, no blade could strike him, no arrow pierce him, so long as he stood on Ferelden soil. From Thetis Myths and Legends by Sister Patrine's Chantry Scholar. That's cool. I don't know how you make armor out of water, but magic is wild, so...
Right.
I can get a warmth balm out of a crate. That will protect me from fire damage. Although I really have not been running into enemies that do elemental damage. There's a cat! I'm back in the village now. There's a little orange kitty on the ground that I can't interact with, but it's here. Alright. I haven't found, what's her name's house? Caitlyn's house. Oh, that must be... Okay, here it is. I think this is the one I didn't go into. Yeah, Caitlyn's home. I'm looking for her little brother, who might be in here. Nothing in the front room. I see a book.
Right.
The Legend of Calenhad, Chapter 1. And a door to upstairs. The second floor. There's a bedroom with a chest that requires a key. A single bed. A candle that's burning. Some books. Bookshelf we can read. Cautionary tales for the adventurous. What's this? It was then that he realized he wasn't alone. The abandoned camp in front of him was unbelievably welcome, like a mirage. The fire felt like a warm hand grabbing his heart. It reminded him of a previous life, so long ago when he was happy, running on the sunflower fields with his boy, the sun on his face, laying next to the fireplace with his beautiful wife in his arms. He felt a sharp pain in his heart. His thoughts shifted to that fateful day when everything changed. Blood was everywhere. He held the body of his dead wife in his arms. Around him, the ashes of his burned house fell like snow. The stench was terrible. It smelled like darkspawn. He grabbed his axe, touched the icy cold hands of his boy, and left. He would kill them. He would kill them all. The pain in his heart was unbearable. He opened his eyes and saw the second most terrifying thing he would see in his life, a shadowy wraith leaning over him, leeching his life away. Around him, the camp was gone, replaced by something familiar. Almost can't lose something you've never had. But being this close to death brought clarity. He knew it was real. Everything else was the illusion. You could see a smile on his torn face. He had been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. He lifted his weak arms, grasped the demon's face, and kissed it. It felt like kissing a cloud made of sand and dust. Suddenly, all sorrow left him, and with it, the last bit of life he had. Before his limp body hit the ground, it was all over. He was finally free. From Cautionary Tales for the Adventurous by Brother Ramos of Gilherm, year 794 Storm. Oh, sounds like there was an audio issue. I hope the VOD will catch that. Otherwise, I'll post the text when I'm done. I think that line was... I don't know where that line is. I think it's about halfway through this codex. If the VOD doesn't catch it, I'll post that later. We're not too far from the end of the stream here. But I need to run back downstairs. Let's see if the kid is down here. There's a side room I didn't go in. When you approach the dresser, and by dresser they really mean like a standing armoire, something moves inside. You hear a short, surprised intake of breath, and then silence. Hello? Is someone in there?
Go away. This isn't your home. This is my home. My home, you hear me?
Bevan, is that you?
How do you know my name?
I'm Caitlin's friend.
Did she tell you to take me back to the Chantry? Don't make me go back there. I hate that place. I hate it.
Why are you hiding in there? It's not safe.
I know, but I don't want to be in the Chantry. Everybody's scared. But they tell me I shouldn't be scared. And they tell me I shouldn't be sad that Mother died. I don't want to be sad. I'm brave. I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to fight them off. I will.
From in there?
No. I just heard you coming, and I guess that's not very brave of me, is it? I'll come out now. All right, I came out. You won't hurt me, will you? I'll go back to the Chantry if you really want.
He looks to be about 10 or 11 years old. He has spiky, very light blonde hair. Your sister's looking for you, you know?
I just didn't want to be at the Chantry anymore. Everyone's scared, and I want to be brave.
Is this your house?
Yes. It was my mother's house. She's dead now. And Caitlin said we have to move away if we survive.
So what were you doing in there?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Persuasion check. Are you sure? Maybe I could help you.
No. I won't tell you. And you can't make me. You can't.
He's pushed past us and is running out of the house. I am not doing well on persuasion. My next level, I should take another level of that. Anyway, he's out of the house now, so he must have gone back to the Chantry. We need to go in there too to ask the mother about. I guess the knights wanted protection.
So, you truly do not believe in any sort of higher power?
It has been bothering you, I see. No, I do not. Must I?
What do you believe happens to you after you die, then? Nothing?
I do not go to sit by the Maker's side, if that's what you mean.
Only those who are worthy are brought to the Maker's side. So many other sad souls are left to wander in the void, hopeless and forever lost.
And what evidence of this have you? I see only spirits, no wandering ghosts of wicked disbelievers.
It must be so sad to look forward to nothing, to feel no love and seek no reward in the afterlife.
Yes, the anguish tears at me so. You have seen through me to my sad, sad core.
Now you're simply mocking me.
You notice? It appears your perceptive powers know no bounds.
Morgan seems determined not to get along with anyone. Here's Caitlin again.
Evan said you were the one who found him. I can't possibly repay you.
Just stay safe, both of you.
The Maker sent you. I just know it. Thank you again.
Alright, quest completed. There must have been some outcome to that quest where we could have gotten a key to that chest upstairs. Maybe if I had passed that persuasion. But I didn't. So that's complete. Liliana approved, +1. And then Mother Hannah in the back.
What is it you need, child?
Sir Pert requests holy protection for the knights.
I have done all I can for them. I pray for them each night and seek the Maker's forgiveness for their sins before they face their deaths. What Sir Perth seeks is something that is not in my power to give.
What do you mean?
Sir Perth believes that I can protect them against these creatures, a shield only the Maker can provide, and that I withhold this power.
Does he not realize that it is his faith alone which must sustain him? It is faith alone which will bring the Maker's aid.
Unfortunately, he seeks the Maker's protection in a far too literal sense. This is something I cannot promise nor provide.
Well, can't you just tell him the Maker will watch over him? Morale is a powerful thing, you know.
You mean you want me to let them think the Maker protects them in a real sense? I will not lie to them like that.
I have 2 different persuasion tactics, 1 intimidation tactic, and 2 ways to back away. Persuasion. If it gave them confidence, then it does protect them.
I suppose if they believed in the Maker's power, that belief would inspire them somewhat. It just seems like trickery. Very well. If it keeps them alive, I will do what I must. I have a number of silver-cast holy symbols. Tell Sir Perth that he can have them, and that wearing them will confer the Maker's protection. Now please, let me tend to these poor folk. I must do what I can, and I suggest you do the same.
Alright, so she did give us something. She gave us some holy symbols. So we can take those back up to Perth. What else do we have? Oh, we also need to find somebody to talk to about the oil. Maybe I'll check in with Murdoch about that. We still have an outstanding thing to get Dwin, but I'm not going to break into his house. And I didn't pass the lockpicking. So, sort of stuck on that. Hey, Murdoch.
The repairs are underway surprisingly quickly, considering how drunk Owen is. We may just make it.
I'd like to talk about Dwin, I guess.
Yes? What's he up to now?
Oh, I don't have anything to say. Okay.
There's not much time before sundown.
Yeah, I don't have anything to talk to him about.
Right. Let's
I'll be
hope we
back.
see morning.
So maybe it's Perth that I need to talk to about the oil. Let me run up the hill again. Oh, there's another house I haven't gone into. There's a house by the waterfall here. Across a very long, very treacherous looking little bridge on the side of the cliff face. Oh, there's a guy in here. Durnal Garrison. Is this, I think this is one of the people we're delivering something to for the Blackstone Irregulars.
Yes? What can I do for you?
I have a letter for you from the Blackstone Irregulars.
I knew this time would come. I should have listened to my wife. Don't sign that paper, she said. They might pay you a few sovereigns now, but they'll be back. Blast. I'll see you on the front lines, I suppose.
Alright, so I think he was a conscription. I can also read his bookshelf, The Ballad of Aisley, and loot his back room.
Let's get started.
A chest that I had to break open for an injury kit. Alright. So now I will go back up to talk to Perth. Hello.
The Knights of Redcliffe are ready to fight at your disposal.
You said you wanted holy protection.
Have you spoken to the revered mother? Has she offered anything?
Mother Hannah has some holy amulets. Would those do?
Must we do this? The faith that will protect these men must come from their heart, surely.
Well,
If they are the same as the symbols worn by their priests, well, that would more than suffice.
I'm glad I could help.
I will send some men to collect the amulets. Please give my regards to Mother Hannah for seeing some sense at last.
No, I guess she didn't actually send them. Have you considered using the oil in the village store?
No one told me of this. Oil, you say? How much exactly?
I could say enough to set many monsters aflame, or never mind, it's probably a bad idea. Enough to set many monsters aflame.
Assuming that would hurt them. Yes, I see what you have in mind. That might be effective, if used carefully. Yes, excellent idea. I'll send some men to collect the oil. We'll use it to slow these creatures down. Have you anything else to ask me in the meantime?
Is there anything else you need?
No, nothing comes to mind. If you have not spoken to the mayor, Murdoch, you should. His militia is far more in need of aid than we are.
Alright, carry on.
As you say, we are prepared to meet the enemy here when they come. Maker, prepare us. We shall be victorious.
So I guess the knights... Liliana disapproved, Morgan approved. Alright. Fine. So the knights are at the top of the hill, so they're sort of the first line. And I guess Murdoch will be in the village. I leveled up from that. So let me just raise my dexterity and cunning a bit. Take a second point of coercion, so I can pass more persuasion checks. And take... I'll actually take third level lockpicking as well. Morgan has a level up that I'll attend to in a bit. I think we've done everything in pre-battle Redcliffe. Let me check my quest journal again. Yep, Sir Perth and his knights are ready. Murdoch is ready. Perth has the amulets and is going to use the oil. We have a quest for the future to find Velena in the castle. We've gotten the Redcliffe recruit for Blackstone Irregulars. Yeah, I think we are ready to tell Murdoch that we're ready for the attack. However, that will have to be tonight. So, in the sense that we are ready to wait until sundown and make our stand, so will we, the players and audience. I'm gonna go ahead and save here, and we will resume. I haven't saved in a while. Redcliffe, ready for battle. And we will be back. So we will do our second stream tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. Then we will also, if everything works out, plan to stream again tomorrow night at 9 Eastern for our third Dragon Age stream of the weekend. As always, I post updates on Twitter if things aren't working, so that is the best place to keep up with that. Yeah, so that'll be it for this afternoon. You can find me, as always, at CEL10E on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. The archives from last weekend are on YouTube now, so they're easy to watch there. As well as, I think they're still here in Twitch Archive, so if that's the service you prefer. And I also have my Return of the Obra Dinn series on YouTube and Crusader Kings videos. So, thank you for watching, and we'll be back with Dragon Age and the defense of Redcliffe tonight. Have a good one.